Hello Scorpio, and welcome to my channel, Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements, looking at your connection between you and the person that you are dealing with and are needing to learn the most from right now. We'll be pulling for all three sides of the connection, so we'll look at your energy toward it, their energy toward it, and the energy in between it, the concept being that there are three sides to every story, so we'll be looking at your version of the truth, their version of the truth, and this higher level unbiased truth in the middle. This middle section, we'll be looking at what is the deeper purpose of the connection and the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. Friendly reminder that these are general readings and they are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and to leave what does not. On that note, and especially if you are a cross watcher, just know this whole reading can be reversed. If that is the case for you, that is totally fine and totally normal. Again, the point is to take what helps and leave what doesn't. Last thing is that any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading or coaching session with me is in the description box below. All right, Scorpio, we're going to go ahead and jump on in. We're going to start with oracle cards, looking at your energy toward the connection, their energy toward it, and the energy in between it, with oracle cards first, and then we will dive deeper into the reading with tarot as we progress. But first, we're going to start with looking at overall energy for your side of this connection, for the person you are dealing with and are needing to learn the most from right now. All right, Scorpio's energy toward the person they are dealing with. Soulmate recognition, passion, communication, and then on the bottom you have breakups and makeups. There's something about your connection to this person that feels different and like special in a way. I feel like there's something very intense about it too, like very magnetic in a way. But I feel like this connection has not had a shortage of complications. It feels like there's been kind of this in and out energy, this energy of disconnection, reconnection, which I'm getting with breakups and makeups. But that doesn't mean full-blown breakup, reconnection. I just feel like in general, just distance, coming back together, whatever that kind of looks like for your story. With this communication card here, I feel like I actually feel like there's a lack of it in this connection. Not that you guys don't speak, because talking to somebody and communicating with them are two very different things. And I think that this kind of has added to the complications. And I think that with the intensity of the connection and because of how much you do feel very drawn toward them, it kind of makes because it feels very roller coaster-esque. I feel like it makes the roller coaster feel very worth it. But that doesn't mean that it's not tiring. It doesn't mean that it's not difficult, that you're not struggling here. This person's energy toward you, Scorpio. Just remember, especially if you're a cross watcher, this energy can be reversed. This person's energy toward you here. Detachment, drama, and patience. Look at this patience card. It's kind of like it's a chessboard, right? It feels like this person is very careful with their approach to this connection. Almost like the word that I'm kind of getting is calculated. And it's not necessarily that it's manipulative. I think that those, sometimes people can misinterpret those as going hand in hand. It just feels as if this person, they have a lot of fear around relationships. And because of that, I feel like they are very hesitant in their approach to them. And I feel like that might kind of be part of the complication is with this detachment. It feels as if they're very detached, as if they're very withdrawn, as if it feels to you as if they don't really care, but they do care. In fact, I think they care a whole lot more than you know. But with this drama card here, I feel like this person has kind of a lot going on outside of this connection too. It's like they're very distracted in a lot of ways. Now, this drama card, I kind of, you get drawn to this mask. And this mask is kind of like putting on a mask, like pretending to be somebody that they're not. And it's interesting because I feel like you see them for who they really are. So this person's got a lot going on in their energy here. A lot going on. And I think that it makes things confusing for you, for sure, because I think that, like, especially deep down, if you know that they care, if you know that they, want this connection to work, but then how they're showing up on the surface, or like how they show up in that, like with that mask, like if it's something that is kind of like the opposite of that, but you know that they care. Okay, let's dive into this more. Truth of the connection between Scorpio and this person, please. Synchronicity with triggered. It's like the same thing. That's an interesting way of putting it. The same thing that draws you together is the same thing that pushes you guys apart. I feel like, there's a lot of similarities here between you and this person. And I'm not saying that you are like the same person or anything like that, but I feel like you do carry a lot of similarities. And that's what makes this feel so magnetic. But I also feel like some of those similarities go even deeper than the surface, where it's like maybe similar wounding around love, similar triggers or feelings of unlovableness and unworthiness. And it's like that is ultimately kind of what, there's almost this like feeling of familiarity within the connection, but then that's the same thing that creates, I feel like, a lot of the issues. Is there's heavy mirroring here, so you're kind of experiencing a lot within the confines of this relationship, and I think that it makes things, like I said, really complicated, because the passion and the intensity and the draw that you have toward one another is very magnetic. But then it's almost like, just as much as it can be magnetic, you know how when you put like the wrong sides of a magnet together, how it like literally you can't push it together, right? Like it's like the same thing. It's like you're very drawn together, but then sometimes it just feels like there's just something that keeps this connection from fully developing or fully coming together in a healthy way. So yeah, what I kind of heard with that was like the same thing that draws or that pulls you together is the same thing that pushes you guys apart. Which I don't really know what that means. But I don't really know if I'm supposed to. I feel like that's more for you than for me anyway. But let's look at the overall theme of this reading with another oracle deck here, and then we'll dive into tarot. And all relationships are mirrors for us to some capacity, but some people do mirror us more than others, and I feel like there is a lot of mirroring in this connection. Oh goodness, I need to know what that card was. Give me just a second to move this, to grab it. Triggers, that makes sense. Because you had triggered in between the connection, so it makes sense that we see a card that says triggers on it. Okay, so what about these triggers? I feel like you both kind of trigger a wound in each other that makes, like, it's like you both make the other person feel as if you're not good enough. And it's not that you do it intentionally. It's almost just like the way that the energies are structured. It's like it brings up insecurities, and those insecurities create projection, and that projection creates resistance and conflict. And it's like I don't know, it's like that, if that weren't there, then things would just be smooth sailing. But everybody's got trauma, everybody's got triggers. It's a natural part of life. Overall theme of this feels like a specific card here. Whoa. Okay, I see the story. So the card that you got was we outgrew each other, but I feel like there's more to it than that, because you have the feelings are mutual and then influence and distraction. So like I said, there's a lot going on here. And I feel like this we outgrew each other card is more so talking about how this connection would require mutual growth. Like this connection would require both people to step into the role of healing, certain wounding and things of that nature. And I feel like it's like this, there's a lot of potential here, but that would be required. The feelings are mutual. I feel like that's pretty obvious. I feel like we knew that from the very beginning. But then there's influence and distractions here. And this is kind of what I said when I said I feel like this person has a lot going on like outside of this connection. So there's a lot to break down here. I'm really interested to see how this all ties together, because I think that it's one of those like connections where it feels like everything could be so good if like we could just get to this point. But it's like there's things that are blocking you from getting to that point. So let's see what Spirit has to say about this. Let's break this down. Scorpio side of this connection, passion with soulmate recognition. It says Scorpio's energy toward the person they are dealing with. Four of Cups in reverse. Goodness. Eight of Pentacles. Page of Wands in reverse. Scorpio, I feel like in your perception of this, it feels like you really would be willing to do whatever you could to make it work here. You have the Sun. I feel like there's such a desire and such a pull toward this connection. Like you're willing to do that work. I kind of talked about how in order for this connection to come together in a healthy way, there would have to be, mutual healing. I feel like you're like, let's do it. Like I want to do whatever I need to do to make this work. And I think that it goes even further than that. So I talked about the Page of Wands in reverse, and you have the Sun, the Two of Swords, and the Ace of Cups in reverse. It goes even further than that. I even feel as if this connection is, it mirrors you in such a way that it does push you into triggering some inner child wounding here, where it's almost as if there's this this feeling of being loved in the way that you deserve that has kind of always felt very out of reach for you. But I feel like it feels very possible in this connection. And with the Sun here, I feel like you see this as there's so much potential for happiness. There's so much potential for things to grow into something really beautiful. And I feel like you see that, and you are, like I said, you're really willing to work for that here. But I feel like what's been hard is it has felt like you are maybe the only one that wants to put in that work. And I don't necessarily think that's true, but it makes sense why you would feel that way based on this person's behavior, because I feel as if there's a lot of repetitive patterns here. And I think that, again, we're talking about the disconnection and reconnection, right? I feel like it's like this person shows up in a certain way or does certain things, and then it kind of triggers your woundings, which causes you to show up in a certain way, which triggers theirs. And it's like it creates all of this conflict that, to be honest with you, doesn't really need to be there. And it doesn't mean that your feelings aren't valid, and it doesn't mean that the conflict isn't real, but it does mean that there are certain things that wouldn't be as much of a problem if there was kind of this addressing of deeper wounds. And again, I think that you're kind of the one, one of the, like your approach to this is, okay, let's do it. This connection is very unique for you in your life and in your experience. I feel like the intensity that you feel for it, it's almost like it makes it worth it in the end. I think that there's this energy of wanting to work for this in a way that you've never really, I don't want to say you've never really cared as much, because I feel like that sounds bad, but that's not the right way to bring it through. But it's almost like you've never cared this much before, and you've never been willing to, essentially work on something as much as you are this. And I think because of that, you feel a little stuck, because it does feel that you're kind of tired of this disconnection and reconnection, but you also, like I said, are kind of willing to go through it if it means you can get to the point that you see this connection wanting to get to. And I think that that's where things feel hard, is it's like, you can't, because you can't be the only one, right? You can't be the only one to do the work. This has to be like a mutual effort kind of thing. So there's a lot of love here. There's a lot of care here. And none of that is surprising, I feel like, for you, because that's how you feel. But I think just kind of setting the tone of like where you're at when it comes to this connection is important, because I do feel that this isn't like a lack of wanting to try to make things work. I feel like it's feeling as if, well, I don't know yet. Let's see. What's this person's energy toward you here, Scorpio? Because again, like, you recognize this as something that is special, as something that is unique. Kind of like the word that comes to mind is like worth fighting for. Let's look at this person's energy toward you. Patience with drama. Oof. High Priestess in reverse. Queen of Wands. So you could be dealing with a fire sign, Leo, Aries, Sagittarius. It doesn't matter what gender, because we all have feminine and masculine energies within us. Interesting. Okay, hang on. This person's energy toward you. It's kind of fire sign energy. You don't have to be dealing with fire sign. I feel like this person is very fiery. Like, they have a very fiery personality. The Hierophant in reverse. The Hierophant in reverse with the High Priestess in reverse is interesting here. And that's like the thing, is like this fiery personality is both something that's like good, but also bad. And I feel like it's the fire that exists between the two of you too. Like, it's like there's this magnetic draw, but that makes things like kind of almost just as difficult as it makes things, you know, good. Okay, Magician, Emperor in reverse. Ooh. Six of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles here. Okay, give me just a second. This person really struggles with vulnerability. And I feel like they, like, right out of the gate, it's like they don't like how much power you have over them. And it's not that you're like trying to control them or anything. That's not what I'm saying. But I feel like they don't like how affected they are by you. That vulnerability is something that really freaks them out. And I think because of that, like, it's like they pretend not to care. It's like they don't want you to know they care as much as they do. And it's more so like, it's a protection mechanism. They struggle with trust, for sure. And that's kind of what I feel with this, like, Patience card, is they struggle with believing that you love and care about them, like, to the extent that you do. And not just you. Like, it's not anything that you've done or haven't done. That's not what I'm saying. It feels as if this person struggles to believe that anybody, that anybody could love and care about them as much as you do. And I think because of that, it's like they're always really on guard. There's a lot of projection here. It's like they're always expecting you to hurt them. So it's like they protect themselves from getting hurt before anything like happens. It's like they have this expectation that they carry. And it's not that they mean to do this. They've probably had a pretty rough history around love and relationships So it's kind of like try to play nonchalant. Like if Scorpio doesn't think I care, I don't know, like that I'm in control. Like it's interesting. They don't like being out of control, and this connection makes them feel really out of control. And that's the mask they wear. Is this like pretending that they don't care, pretending that it doesn't affect them, but it does. They do care, and it does affect them. I feel like they have a lot of desire here, but they have a lot of self-doubt too, in addition to that. It's like this connection is something that they don't think they're capable of. So it feels like they try to like, it's like, yeah, they try to not care, right? To pretend like they don't care. To almost like trick themselves into believing they don't care so that they can create that distance, because that distance keeps them in control. But then that goes very against what it is that they actually want. Because what they want is for things to work here. I don't know. It feels like this is kind of more of like the energy is a little immature. It's almost like they're playing games here a little bit. And not intentionally, not because they're trying to be like malicious, but because there's this, it's like they don't know how to be genuine. Like that's what it feels like. They don't know how to genuinely be themselves and show up in the energy of like how they feel and what they really want. They expect rejection. So because of that, it's like can't reject me if I don't even give you the opportunity to. Like that's the energy that they sit in. And I feel like it's, I'm going to say this and I'm going to elaborate on it. It feels like scared inner child energy. Like there's this inner child within them that is so afraid of getting hurt, of being abandoned, of being rejected, that their goal here is to do whatever possible to not be abandoned and rejected. But the thing is, if we're in control so much so that we like try really hard to not be rejected, then we're also not letting ourselves be fully loved and accepted. And it feels like it's like, and that's, I feel like what pulls you guys apart is it's so intense and it's so passionate and there's so many feelings here that it's so overwhelming that it brings up so much insecurity, and that insecurity starts to be protected. It's like looking at insecurity as truth instead of what it is, which is insecurity. So I feel as if this person would have to do some work on themselves before they would be able to show up in a healthy way for this connection, because otherwise, this is going to keep happening. They're just going to keep feeling afraid of getting hurt and therefore not allowing themselves the opportunity to even develop into something that is deep and real and vulnerable. Because it's like, if I'm already afraid of this hurting me, if I really like let this in, if this is, as strong as I feel like it is, then it could like really hurt me, right? So, I don't know. It's really interesting the way that the energies are showing up. I'm actually going to take all three of these cards are in reverse, but I feel like they tell the story better than some of the other cards. The cards I take are really just for me to build off of. But I just feel as if, because the thing is that all relationships are assignments for us. And if we're struggling to receive the love that we deserve from another person, that we desire from another person, there's something that we're being asked to take a look at, something that we're being asked to address so that we can show up in a healthy way for the love that we deserve. And I feel like this person, it's almost like, again, there's such a familiarity here when it comes to this person in there, because everybody has a different capacity to give and receive love. And that capacity is going to be dependent on how much healing have they done, how much work has someone done on themselves. Are they aware of their traumas and their triggers? Do they allow their traumas and their triggers to control them? Or do they have, mindfulness over it? So instead of, feeling insecure and projecting that, when they are feeling insecure and there is projection there, they don't act on that projection. They don't create distance because it's comfortable. Like that all determines somebody's capacity to give and receive love in a healthy way. And it feels like this person has a very limited capacity right now. It's not that they could never grow into more of a capacity, but that was the whole thing, is like, in order for this to work, there would have to be healing and growth on both sides, for things to get to like a healthier state. So I don't know. I do feel like, this connection was definitely placed in your life for a reason. And I feel like you're right in feeling like that it's something unique and something important. But that doesn't necessarily always mean, just because I'm not here to further attachment, that doesn't always necessarily mean it's about the two of you ending up together, but more so about what this connection is representing in your life, and how it's pushing you to heal, to grow, to evolve. But we're going to talk more about this and then some in the extended. You have triggered with synchronicity. The purpose of this is to look at the deeper purpose of the connection and the best way for you to move forward in alignment with your higher self. I'll pull 12 more tarot messages, and I've got an advice card that I'll close out that reading with. Any information for that is in the description box below. Thank you so much, Scorpio, as always, for your support of me as a reader. I obviously hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, I wish you nothing but love and healing and all of the wonderful things that you deserve and desire on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Scorpio.